Hello and welcome to the video on how to get the race rings from the lost cities in a combatless way. That is correct. So, if at any point you see some item for which I do not give the recipe, remember that you can click on R to get the recipe and U to see the uses for that item. So you can always go back, also search it down here by typing it out. We're all here for the Rings of Transformation. In total, there's 7 fairies, dwarves, titans, goblins, elves, and dragons. As a matter of fact, you can actually permanently transform into them by using them in their corresponding recipes to create the following foods, such as for the fairy do. And by permanent, I mean that if you die after having consumed this food, you will stay as the designated race you ate the food for. In any case, if you did decide to go back into a human form after having permanently transformed, you can take a restoration serum. There's actually potions for each one of these that you can create without using any of the rings or the ingredients to make these foods that can be gotten in the overworld to temporarily transform into them, such as any other potion effect would be temporary, right? And in fact, we will be transforming into fairies potentially as one of the 2 flying methods currently in the game that is consistent. The fairies, what we want to transform into them is because they also give us +2 luck and creative flight. That will be our main method for circumnavigating the lost cities. We can also get luck from the goblins, but we don't really want to go for that. We want to use flying and take advantage of luck. Why luck? Because luck is very important in the lost cities. There's many different chests that can be found in the different buildings within, and the loot is generated based on our luck. It is rolling the dice, basically. So if we have a natural +2 luck, that will certainly aid us in our quest to get these rings. Now, to raise our luck even further, we will have to get something called Ambrosia, and for that we will have to capture Pixies. I will demonstrate what they are in a moment, but to capture these Pixies, we'll be using a jar to farm the pixie dust they drop to make Ambrosia. Ambrosia is a type of food that gives you jump boost boost 3, absorption 3, luck 3, strength 3, for 3 minutes, which is amazing. And it is very simple to make. You need the pixie dust, glistening melon, golden carrot, and a bowl. They're non-stackable, but you only really need 1 per trip. We will also be using silver armor because if you didn't know, the full set gives you the effect Cure, which is giving you immunity to all negative status effects. In the Lost Cities, there's Fear effect, which doesn't let you use your right click to do certain actions. For example, one of those actions is opening chests. So that's one of the reasons we want to use silver armor. Also, getting 50% movement speed is very nice to travel and try to get as many chests as possible, as we are running on potions to fly. And time is of essence here. Now that we got our luck pretty much maxed out, now we're going to look at how we can catch that Ambrosia for our luck. So in RLCraft, there's actually 2 kinds of Pixies. The human-like Pixies, as you can see over here, which are commonly found in forests and other biomes. You must be wary of them because they do steal your items. As you can see right here, this one is holding a brick, which was stolen from me as I was creating this area for this video. And the other one is more firefly-like, very similar to those that you can find in The Legend of Zelda. They are both called exactly the same, and they both drop pixie dust. And unfortunately, they're both also called exactly the same, but you can differentiate them by color. This pixie dust is the one we're going to focus on right now. You can capture a fairy by using the aforementioned jar and right-clicking directly on the fairy. Once you catch it, you'll have it in your inventory, and you'll be able to place it. When you place it, they will stay there, and they are able to produce 1 per day, so collecting a few might be a good idea to have a steady supply of their pink pixie dust. You can tell they're ready to be farmed from their dust by right-clicking where they are sitting. As you can see right here, all of these are sitting, and this one is not, so they should be ready. Right-click, and as we saw right there, we got some pixie dust. And every day you can collect 1 from them. So they can break if you get rid of the block under them, so be careful. The pixie will escape too and might take your items on the process. You see it right here. She just escaped and we say goodbye to her. Now, on here, consider placing a collection system like the one you see right here. So when you right-click them, it is automatically collected. As such, right-click them, it goes into the item hopper, and now it's on the chest. Now, we can make 2 potions. That can be the fairy potion or the flying potion. I'm going to demonstrate how to make the flying potion first. The difference is that the flying potion will give you wings, but will maintain your same size and will not give you any luck benefit, which is our second best option. It might be easier. It might be harder to collect the items if it is cheaper than the other alternative. I'll show in a moment. For this one, you do need bone mushroom spore. Bone mushroom spore can be gotten from white plants that are found on top of bone blocks in the nether. These are small biomes, and you'll be able to collect more than enough if you stay there and are able to go into the nether. By this point, if you're trying to go into the lost cities, it is very likely you're in the end game, so this shouldn't be too bad to get. Then this is the other pixie dust, the purple kind. The hard part about these pixies is that they spawn exclusively in the flower forest biome, which is pretty rare, and you have to kill these for a chance to get their dust, so it's not guaranteed. I would recommend some sort of looting enchantment and the weapon you use to kill these. Compasses and atlases are useful to find out where you are, because you may confuse the area with plains biome, which also has a lot of flowers at times. Use a compass and you can see in the middle it says desert. That is my current biome. It will help you. Now, that is for the flying potion. You do get creative flight too, and the potion can be extended to 8 minutes. Now, the fairy potion is much more expensive, but is not as hard to find for the biome. So it depends on which route you want to take. This is my recommended route, and the one we'll be using for the example at the end of the video. You need to make an awkward potion with netherwort. That use, what is this called? Glowing dust, I believe. Then use that glowing dust potion to put in a glowing ingot and then a glowing gem, which are very expensive to make, as you need a lot of materials such as silver, blaze powder, and other items you can check on the recipe book on our right side from the menu. And at the very end, you do need a gas tier. And when you extend it using redstone, you will have a potion of fairy transformation that is 3 minutes long. That is very short, but we can use wine. Wine is a drink that can extend the effect of any positive potion effects that you currently have on yourself. And I will not be doing a guide for that unless it is requested, but there's plenty of guides out there that you can check out on how to make wine. So you'll want to look at those afterward if you do not know how to make them. Now, you want to probably increase your luck as you can, so reforging your items for luck might help, even baubles. But since it is very likely to die, and I guarantee you will die at least once or twice if you have not done this before, you could potentially make a few very cheap ones, such as emerald rings or emerald amulets, as they only need they do not need golden ingots, they actually need emeralds to reforge them. And the tool belt and the light arrow quiver, or the any of the quivers really, only needs leather to be reforged. It is worth mentioning that you can use the luck magnification weapon enchantment, but this is not recommended, and I'll explain in a moment why. Also, if you reforge your baubles, you can reforge them for the lucky quality, but it's not really worth it unless you really want to get the secondary effect to be something defensive, to have a little bit more defense, like this one has guarding. And it's 0.02 luck per bauble, so it's up to your discretion. Also, remember, you might probably die. And as for the silver armor, you can also reforge it for lucky if you so wish to. I do not recommend about it. You really don't need to worry about it. It does increase your chance and it will help you, but it's not a big deal if you don't have it. Being a fairy and having Ambrosia Luck 3 should be more than enough to get a ring or two minimum by using at least, I'd say, 5 to 10 minutes of fairy potion transformation. So, yeah, you can just reforge them and hope for the best. Now, oh, and if you have some enchantments, some cheap ones should be pretty nice, such as protection and such. And you could even consider a shield, but it is ultimately not needed. Now, what will you be taking over there? Probably you might want to consider building a base for when you go over there. You do not want to die in your base, because if you do and you are infected by the mobs, spoiler alert, you will be transforming into a dead version of yourself. And if you keep spawning in the same location, you'll just keep on dying and dying and dying. And it might be very hard to get out of such a situation. You want to avoid that at all costs. Also, when you go in for the first time, you do not have a set spawn point, so you must be very careful. If you die there, you won't spawn in the overworld. You will stay in the lost cities in a random spot. So you want to set your spot by either using a waste stone or using a bed. Now, the interesting part is that you usually spawn over the ground. You can spawn inside of buildings, which is where a lot of mobs do spawn. What you want to do is that near the area you spawn, you want to build another portal, which I'm going to show you how to build. All you need is 6 schools of any kind, doesn't matter. I just decided to use old skeleton schools since they stack and they're pretty easy to get in the overworld. A bed, 2 synthetic lanterns, which you can use crafting materials mostly gotten from the nether. Obsidian will be very good as a building material, as some of the blocks can be broken by the mobs found within. And a couple of crates might be nice for your base, you know. And a second bed, I'm not entirely sure if you can set your spawn on the teleport bed currently, but it is an option, just to be extra safe, right? So what you want to be taking here will be warp scrolls. Warp scrolls are actually craftable. They're not very expensive, a little bit annoying to make. 2 ender pearls, 2 gold ingots, and a purple source, such as grapes. Just look up the information later. You will want to take a couple, since this will allow you to teleport from anywhere in the world into a waste stone for free. These are actually very useful throughout your entire gameplay, but they also work across dimensions. That's why these are so important. You will want some sort of pickaxe. I recommend iron or better, since we will be looting by flying off from the sides of buildings. You will need some food and some water. It doesn't have to be a purified dragon canteen. It can be any source of clean water, preferably. Ambrosia, which will be very, very nice, and a requirement to raise our luck to its maximum state in an easy and cheap fashion. You could take a potion of invisibility. I actually do recommend it. It'll help your detection be decreased even further, and they're pretty easy to make, honestly. A potion of flight is optional, but I prefer the potion of fairies. So the fairy transformation. Actually, let me get one very quickly over here. Put it right here. And optionally, you could take heat and cold resistance potions, since you do not know which biome you might spawn in, and it might be summer or it might be winter over there. You never know. It's better to be safe and bring him as a just in case. A waystone to teleport, of course. and a couple of stacks of wine, which will be increasing our positive effects for a while. Oh, you can also take an atlas, by the way. Now, as for the luck magnification, why do you not want to take this? Because it already gives you the luck effect, luck 2. Every level gives you a level of luck. As you can see in the top left corner of my screen, I do have luck 2 currently, and it won't affect in any way, so it's better to just save yourself the trouble of getting a luck magnification potion. Unless you do not have Ambrosia, then you could consider getting it, but it's not really worth it in my opinion. Now, we will be going into this dimension, so let's get all the items we will be using. And just keep in mind that if you're going to build this portal, it's 2 synthetic lanterns under a bed with 6 schools of any kind. Okay, sorry. And these 6 schools can be any, doesn't matter which direction they're pointing or where they're going. So now let's go straight into the bed, and will appear in a random location. I have taken the liberty to go ahead and build an underground base. As you can see here, you probably want to build it as soon as possible. Go underground, probably build a synthetic lantern over here, make a portal, put your waystone, set your spawn point, put a few boxes, put your stuff away, and when you're ready, you could probably build a ladder over here and maybe a trapdoor at the top. Make sure you do not die next to your save zone. You really don't want to. Remember, you will spawn as a dead version of yourself, and you will probably get trapped, and we want to avoid that at all costs. So, now we'll go ahead and get started. Let me go into game mode survival. Survival? Now that we're in survival mode, we'll go ahead and take the Ambrosia. Now we have strength, luck, absorption, and jump boost. Go ahead and take a potion of invisibility. Now we're invisible. Take a potion of fairy transformation. We're transforming into a fairy. And finally, take some wine to increase those minutes to the maximum of 10. Do not take more than enough to get more than level 10. And as you can see, when you drink too much wine, you will start getting inebriated. But we do have our silver armor, so we should be ignoring those bad effects. They went away already. And you'll probably have a couple more drinks of wine on here when you're exploring. And now we can go forward and go out. Keep in mind that there are some flying mobs, so you will want to be careful. We'll use an example. We're currently a fairy. As you can see, we're very small, hard to see. But even if we are invisible, mobs can still see us since we're wearing armor. And they can probably one-hit us. So this is a chest. The nice thing of being a fairy is that you can go in 1-by-1 blocks. And it is preferable to do that because then we can do stuff like this. Like if we count the number of blocks, which is roughly 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to go in. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up here should be the chest. There we go. Open it, check it out, and there isn't anything, unfortunately. So we're gonna keep on going. We're only going for chests that are close to us, such as this one. We're gonna get close and see if there's anything inside. Nothing of interest, no rings here, and keep on searching slowly but surely, and eventually you will get one. There's a lot of chests in the Lost Cities, so if you see a chest or two, do not get too frustrated if you're not able to get it. Just go for the ones that are very close to you. For example, this one right here, we have a couple of options right here. As you see, it is very hot, so I'm starting to feel too hot. I'll probably get hyperthermia. That's one of the reasons you might want to take one of those optional potions I mentioned. Another one right here. Let's see if we can get it. And nothing again. But since we do have raised up our luck, you will eventually get one of the rings. And we wish you the best of luck. Do remember, this is the Lost City, so you're very likely to die here. And a question you might have is, why not turn into a dragon? Well, that's because you're pretty big, and spoiler alert, when you're a dragon and you're flying, your flight is not limitless. It is based on your mana. You cannot fly forever. Let's try this last chest and see if we get anything. Unfortunate, but we did get a Pixie dust. So you can get some very interesting resources as you see over here. Oh, let's do one more and see if we get lucky. This is very risky, me going inside the building. Some could potentially spawn in there, and I could be in a ton of trouble in a very short amount of time. And always make sure you check the skies, as there's mobs that can see you in the sky. That is my guide for today. I wish you the best of luck in getting rings for yourself. Do keep in mind you can find different rings in different locations. But if you're going for the dragon ring, which is the most popular one, you can find it in any chest, so fret not. And the fairy rings can only be found in high-level chests, so in buildings on high levels. So try to go for those, and since you're flying, it should be pretty easy. As you can see, there's a lot of chests on the sides right here. And yeah, with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.